Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? So a couple days ago, I dropped my top 10 point guards going into next NBA season. I'm been doing the shooting guard list for y'all today. So if y'all are new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down low, leave a like on the video, help your boy out, and let's get right into it. So I want to start off by saying the way I determine these players' positions is based off of NBA.com for the most part. I know there's a lot of players in the league that are either guard forward or forward center, something along the lines of that. So it's either based off of NBA.com or how I personally view them, because not always is a player listed at the position that they play, or they play a different position than they're actually listed at. So I wanted to clear that up, get that out of the way for y'all in case y'all were wondering why I had who, where, and all that type of other stuff. So at number 10, I want to start off with Desmond Bane. Now Desmond Bane was a player that could have easily won Most Improved. I don't even think he was a finalist, and he probably should have been. I think Ja Morant actually won it, and he gave him the Most Improved trophy, which in my eyes, Desmond Bane was one of the most improved players, if not the most improved. Now, he didn't have a great playoff run or whatever. I think he only averaged like 9 points against the Warriors, which was absolutely atrocious. I get all that, but he's not a number one scoring option. He's a great catch and shoot guy, can get to the basket. I like Desmond Bane's game. He's a real young guard. He's got good size, pause. But this is a dude that really plays his role well, and I think he fits nicely alongside Ja Morant. So I got him at number 10 going into next season. Now at number 9 is a guy that plays point guard now for his new team, and that's CJ McCollum. I know CJ McCollum started at point guard once he got traded to the Pelicans, but I still personally view him as a shooting guard. He's played shooting guard his entire career alongside Dame until we got to New Orleans. So in my eyes, he's still a shooting guard. And CJ McCollum, man, he's still got game in this league. He still proved when he got to the Pelicans that he can be not a number one scoring option, because he ain't never going to win a championship as a number one. I don't even think as a number 2. But CJ McCollum is still a very solid shooter in the league. He can score, 25 a game or whatever he averaged when he got to New Orleans. And the Pelicans are going to be really nice next year once they get Zion back with a healthy BI and CJ McCollum. That's a nice little trio that they can make some noise in the Western Conference. I like CJ McCollum's game. I just didn't like the pairing with him and Dame. It just didn't work out. Their ceiling was pretty much the Western Conference Finals, which is what they got to one year, but they weren't ever going to go any further than that with him as a number 2 option. I don't view him as that. I think he's the best off as a number 3 option. We'll see how he does with the Pelicans this year with the full season under his belt. But I got CJ McCollum at number 9 going into next season. So at number 8, a lot of people consider him a small forward. I view him as a 2 guard, even though he started at the small forward last year, and that is Ant-Man Anthony Edwards. I love Anthony Edwards' game, man. He is going to be a superstar. He showed out in the playoffs, man. Everybody was calling him Baby Jordan and Michael Jordan's kid. Anthony Edwards is just a stud. He is an absolute stud in this NBA. If he can improve his defense, he's already improving his shooting. He is not scared of the moment. He takes big shots and hits big shots when it matters. The Timberwolves have a nice foundation with him and Cat, and now they got Rudy Gobert going forward. We'll see if they can turn into an actual contender in the Western Conference this season. But I got Ant-Man at number 8. Again, I view him as a guard. He's only like 6'4", 6'5". He's got a bigger frame, but he played the 3 last year. But now that they don't have Patrick Beverley, I think he is going to slide to the 2 with D'Lo at that point. I don't really know who they're going to put at the 3. Maybe Jay McDaniels or maybe Jalen Noel. I don't know. I guess we got to see what they do at the 3 going forward. Maybe they still keep him at the 3. I don't know. Again, he's still a 2 guard in my eyes. I love his game. So I got Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, at number 8. So at number 7, I have Bradley Beal. And this is a dude we know what he is in the NBA. He's a scorer. He is strictly a scorer. He was on one of the worst defensive teams last year. He doesn't play defense. He got a max contract this past offseason, which I don't even want to go into all that. I'm wondering when Bradley Beal is going to start to want to win. You can't legitimately think you have a chance to win a championship in Washington, but that's another topic for another day. We ain't talking about the championship aspirations and all that. I got Bradley Beal number 7. He's a scorer in the league. He averaged, 25, 28 points a game. Now, he did get hurt towards the end of last year. I think he missed roughly, I don't know how many games he missed, but he missed a good portion of the second half of the season. He's coming, I don't know if he has surgery or not, but he's coming off of injury, but he can still light up the scoreboard. We know what Bradley Beal's capable of. He's an all-star, but I think there's a lot of guys ahead of him that I personally would take over him going into next season. That's why I got Bradley Beal listed at number 7. Now at number 6, I wouldn't really call it a controversial one, but definitely a questionable one. I wasn't really sure where to rank him, but I got Klay Thompson. Now Klay Thompson had his moments, and here's the reason why I got him at 6. He's going to have a full offseason of recovering time off that ACL injury, or not ACL, but Achilles. Was it ACL or Achilles? I can't remember. Either way, it was a bad knee injury. But he's got full recovery time now. He obviously just won a championship with Curry. He didn't play great in the finals, but he had a couple games. He still showed that he is Klay. He's still a shooter. He can still get to the rim. And he's still a pretty decent defender. So I'm looking for Klay to be even better this coming season than he was obviously coming off his injury. So as of right now, I do got Klay Thompson number 6. But I think he definitely has the ability to move back into that top 5. Maybe even top 3. I guess we'll see. I got Klay at 6. So at number 5, this may be a controversial one for some of you guys. And again, this was another player where I didn't really know where I wanted to put him, between 5, 6, or 7, kind of in that mid top 10. And that's Donovan Mitchell. Now Donovan Mitchell's the kind of the prime talk of trade rumors right now outside of Kevin Durant. Will he end up in New York? Will he end up in Miami? I think though that is going to be a big question going into next season. But we still know who Donovan Mitchell is. He's played great in the playoffs for the most part, other than the Jazz collapsing every single year like they always do. That's who the Jazz are. We just have to accept that. But that doesn't take away from what Donovan Mitchell is. He attacks the rim, he can score, he can light it up, but he doesn't play defense, just like pretty much 95% of the NBA who doesn't play defense. So I'm not going to knock a dude that can't play defense when some of my favorite players don't play defense. It is what it is. But Donovan Mitchell, man, we know what he is at this point in his career. I don't really see him getting any better. I think he's kind of at his prime, where he's at his peak. Well, I can't really say that. He can get better if he improves on the defense. He's already a pretty good shooter. He attacks the rim. But if he improves his defense, he could be a top 3 shooting guard in the NBA. But it just depends. So I always looked at him as kind of like a mini Wade. He reminds me a lot of Dwayne Wade. Now, don't say I'm comparing Donovan Mitchell to Dwayne Wade, because I'm not doing that. He just reminds me a lot of Wade. He's actually a better shooter than Wade was from 3-low. So I got Donovan Mitchell at number 5 going into next season. Now that is subject to change depending on where he lands. If he does get traded, whether it's New York or Miami, we'll see going forward. But I got him at number 5 for next season. Now at number 4, this was a player that I could have put as a point guard, but I left him off the point guard list. I put him on the shooting guard list because I've always viewed him as a shooting guard, and that's James Harden. Now I know James Harden technically is a point guard, but I don't know, man. I just have a hard time calling James Harden a point guard. I don't know why. It's just how I feel. But I got him at number 4 as a shooting guard. And this was a player that just took a massive step back the last year or two, just completely out of shape. Does not have that quick first step like he used to. He can't create as much separation, but he's still a pretty damn good player in the NBA. I mean, he came out and said that he had averaged like 29 and 9. If anybody else did that in the league, they would get a max contract. I get where he's coming from on that. I really do. Because most of the time, if a player averages 29 and 9, they're probably going to get a max contract. But James Harden, we know you're better than that. We know that you can score better than that. And 9 points or 11 points in a closeout game? Come on, man. We're only taking 1 or 2 shots in the second half of a playoff game. That's just not going to cut it. Now, I do look for James Harden to be better this next upcoming season. I think he's going to really take the offseason to get in shape. I think him and Joel Embiid are going to mesh a lot better. The Sixers have a better bench. They got PJ Tucker. I think James Harden is going to go, I'm not going to say he's going to go back to the Houston James Harden, but I think he is going to be a lot better than what he was last NBA season. So we'll see going forward, but I got James Harden at number 4 as of right now. So moving into the top 3. Now I think the top 3 in my eyes is pretty much solidified. Y'all can disagree if you'd like, but I think it's pretty inevitable on who the top 3 shooting guards, and you can put them in whatever order you want. But at number 3, I have Zach LaVine, and this dude is just a lethal scorer in the NBA. Did not play great in the playoffs. I get all that. Him and DeRozan DeRozan always folds in the playoffs. That's a different story for another day. But Zach LaVine didn't play great against Milwaukee in the first round, but we still know what he's capable of. It was his first time in the playoffs. He's a lethal scorer, lethal shooter, can put up 30 on every night, or any given night, can put up 40, can drop 50. He is just one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, but didn't get it done in the playoffs. I get all that, but he's still an elite player, all-star caliber. Well, he is an all-star. I wouldn't call him a superstar. I wouldn't even call him the second best option on a championship team, but I think he could be a number 3 option. It just, I guess it depends on the team and who the main player is. But I like Zach LaVine's game. I always have liked that Zach LaVine's game. He kills the Hawks every time he plays us, and it pisses me off. But I got Zach LaVine at number 3 going into next season. So at number 2, we got my favorite shooting guard in the NBA, and that is Jaylen Brown. I love Jaylen Brown's game. He's the best two-way shooting guard in the NBA, and it ain't close. He plays both ends of the court. He's an excellent all-ball defender. He can score, average 25 if he wants to. He can be the number 2 option on a championship team behind Jason Tatum. I think that they kind of collapsed. Jason Tatum was an atrocity in the finals. That's another story for another day. Jaylen Brown was really a lot of the reason why the Celtics were even there in the first place, and the reason why they even won 2 games in the finals. He had big fourth quarters. Now, I know he had a lot of sloppy turnovers. I really hope he improves his ball handling going into next season. A lot of times he would dribble into traffic and would just lose the ball or throw the ball away. It was pissing me off because I know he's better than that, but he's still an elite two-way player in the NBA. I got him at number 2. Really could argue, I think you can argue him as number 1, but in my mind, he is still number 2. I really think he's going to take another step forward going into next season, but I guess we'll find out. So at number 1, it's pretty damn obvious based off of who I have already listed, and that is Devin Booker. Devin Booker's taking a lot of criticism, man, based off of what he just did this past playoff run. He didn't play well in Game 7 against Dallas. I think he only had like 11 points. I get all that. But we cannot forget what he did in their championship run last year, or I guess before this past season. When they played the Bucks in the finals, he had an excellent playoff run. We know what Devin Booker's capable of. He is just an excellent scorer. One of the best scorers we have in the NBA. Can easily lead the league in scoring if you wanted to. The Suns team's pretty much going to be back where they were. I don't know if they're going to get to the conference finals. It's a little bit too early to talk about all that, but Devin Booker, man, one of the elite lethal scorers in the NBA. I love Devin Booker, man. He's still one of my favorite shooting guards. I just wish he would have played better in the Dallas series, but he didn't. But I still view him as the number 1 shooting guard going into next season. Again, the top 3 you can kind of really put in any type of order. I wouldn't be mad if you put Jaylen Brown number 1. I wouldn't be mad if you put Zach LaVine number 1. The shooting guard list is so close in terms of 1 through like 6 or 7. I think it's super close of where you would want to rank these guys, but this is just my list. You can disagree with it if you want, but that is my list going into next season for the top 10 shooting guards. So that's pretty much it, man. That is my list. I'm going to be doing small forwards next, so be on the lookout for that. If y'all would make any changes or anything like that, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.